And hi, everybody. Welcome to Rick Snider's Washington on YouTube, where you get the whole story. So please like, share, subscribe, comment. You hit the thanks button. A lot of you watch this on replay. Thank you for coming in. You can see the whole show wherever you want to go through it, especially on replay. Just fast forward. Got a few special things to talk about, which let the room fill up a little bit before I get to it. The first one in, let's see. Is it Steve? Can't tell yet. Let me fix my sign while we're doing this. All right. Yes, it is Steve is first up. Go ahead and do it. I have something special. I'll wait for a few people to come along, and we'll just kind of give it a minute. Hopefully a few people come along. Maybe they won't. But minicamp was today. So in between the haze, here we go. We got a few people coming in. I like to let the room get started. This is the last one I'm doing until training camp, which is going to start around July 27th. So I hear that training camp is going to have some real perks for fans, so you might want to come this year. You know, I'm hearing they're going to have some things there for you to do, and you know, instead of just standing there going, I can't see nothing. So it'll be in Ashburn. Again, they're going to be in Ashburn until whenever they're not in Ashburn anymore. Although after taking 2.5 hours to drive last 2 days in the morning across Washington, I wish we were in Richmond because I could get there at 1:45, never back up, take back roads. It was 30 miles farther and 30 minutes faster. So it's a little tough in Washington right now with the traffic. Again, such a pain. All right. Man, that's it. 2 people. All right. Well, maybe you get to do the, you get to see the honors. All right. Why not? Since you're first up, you get to see it yourselves. All right, so I was in Wegmans, which is just down the street from Commander's Park now, we call it that. And I usually follow my stories out of there, eat lunch after minicamp. Last 2 days have been minicamp. And they're going to do minicamp tomorrow, maybe in the bubble because of the weather, which is the smoke. I live about as far away from Commander's Park as you can and still be in the Washington area. I live in this Southern Maryland, which is southeast of town. The park is in the northwest part of town near Dulles Airport. Both of we're both a ways off the Beltway. So I literally have to drive from Southern Maryland through D.C. and into Northern Virginia to go to practice. Normally on a good day, hour 15, but it's been 2:30 last 2 days. But I got to see all the smoke. So in Southern Maryland, the haze is real. D.C., it's bad, but not like New York bad. My God, these poor people, it's awful. And then when you get out to the park, it's kind of near the mountains in a way. You could see some blue in the sky. It wasn't bad. You could smell it a little bit. I know a lot of people said after I did my videos right afterwards, you know, talking about what happened today, my voice wasn't that good because of smoke. So tomorrow, which is supposed to be the last day of minicamp, they have a practice scheduled for next Tuesday, but the media can't come for whatever reason. They lost a week of OTAs, sanctions for something they did last year. So they normally don't do the 3rd day of minicamp, but they need it this year. So tomorrow they're probably going to be inside the bubble. 90 players inside a bubble does not make for much of a workout. There's just not the room because you have one field and it's not even a whole field. So really today what I thought was the last one. But, you know, it's supposed to be the haze is supposed to be worse tomorrow. And so I don't blame them. You know, I saw a bunch of players when they would run routes, you know, they kind of walk back to the sideline and out of breath. And I thought, what's the matter with these guys? They can't be that out of shape. And then I thought, oh, it's the smoke. You know, it was actually visibly affecting them. You know, they met with doctors before they put the team on the field this morning to check the air quality. They told anybody has, you know, asthma or something, which hard to believe you could play in the NFL with that. But they said, if you do, you know, let us know. We can take you out of practice, that kind of thing on there. So that's why they may be in the bubble again tomorrow. All right, but then I went over to Wegmans. I write my stories there, eat lunch, and file for everybody. And I spotted the buy Dan beer. Not the buy Dan beer, the buy Dan beer. All right. So I found them. They sell them in packs of 4. They're each $4 basically. It's a 16 bucks. And I thought, man, that's expensive. But I guess this beer would be what, $14 at FedEx Field. Anyway, they have them at Wegmans. Now I was there yesterday at 2:00 when I grabbed mine. They had a whole pallet. All right, because the brewery that makes this is just down the street too. So I guess that's how Wegmans got it. And when I was there about 10 o'clock this morning, for a moment, that pallet had shrunk down to about 10, a group of 10 4-packs. So people are going for it, but you can find it on there. So I'll get to your questions in a few minutes, including yours, Robert. So I just thought, well, I got to buy this, and it's going to sit on my shelf back there right next to my Big Jack beer, which is unopened. But I used to drink Big Jack beer, and it wasn't bad. So I figured, let's try it. Supposedly it was bitters or something, the tears of fans. But I thought, okay, let's just try it. It has this mild bitter taste to it, but not so much. It kind of tastes like beer, to be honest. It's made out of Old Ox Brewery, so it's hard. I don't know that they're allowed to mail alcohol, so I think you have to get it. You have to find somebody. Tell them to go to Wegmans, and I know Ashburn has it, but maybe some other Wegmans have it. I don't know. And of course, Old Ox Brewery. But like I said, I don't know. They have laws. Every law, Virginia's laws are different than Maryland's, things like that. I'm not sure if they can mail it or not to you, but it's pretty cool. You can see in the back they have this little story about Old Ox beer. Oh, here it says, tastes like 23 years of bitterness. So wouldn't it be a riot if they sold this at FedEx Field? People would buy it. They would buy this. So every time I say something stupid tonight, I'll take a drink. And well, I'll save another one. So whenever it's official, we'll all toast on this. I'll come online. We'll do it. There was a NFL Finance Committee meeting today. I have heard nothing out of it. Where they were supposed to be meeting with Josh Harris about his bid. They basically are saying, dude, you got $1 billion in unsecured debt. We need you to put a little more cash in this. So I'm sure Harris had to come in with a plan today to say, this is how we'll do it. So I'm sure we'll hear about it tomorrow, what happened there. There's still a lot of, educated guessing among those of us who watch this, that it could be like early August before this is done, the team sale. But, Dan's not around. So I'm not too, don't worry about Dan gets the team back or something. We're not going to see that. So, all right, let's talk about a couple of things today. There was a stupid national report that said that the team was considering trading Chase Young. And then they walked it back. And they should walk it back, because here's why Chase Young will not be traded. All right, number one, he looks good on the field right now. And no one's going to take him if he doesn't. But in minicamp, you're not allowed to really hit each other. Now, the line can do a lot of pushing and shoving, but you can't hit each other. So you can't really tell where Chase is yet on that. And they were talking the other day about, well, how's his knee? And I thought, he played the last 3 games of the season. So if he played that, his knee should be fine. I stood next to him when we were doing the interviews. I got a close look at him. The dude's rock hard. He's been training hard. There's not an ounce of fat on that guy. And then I watched him, on some 11-on-11s. They used him some for 2 days here on 11-on-11s. And I tell you what, he had the eye of a tiger, which is good news. I thought his explosiveness on his first 2 steps, which is all you can gauge, I thought was very good. All right. So Chase becomes an unrestricted free agent next year. They can franchise tag him on that. I think he's motivated to have a big year. You wouldn't trade this guy, because if you lose him in free agency next year, then you'll get a 3rd-round compensation pick in 2025. All right. So for anybody to get Chase now for this season, you got to offer more than a 3rd. You got to go at least a 2nd. I don't see anybody going a 1. I don't really see anybody going a 2nd. And if you're Ron Rivera, who's the guy that's going to decide this, what's he care about giving somebody his, if he doesn't play well, if they don't have Chase, if they're not playing well, Ron's not here, what's he care about leaving a draft pick for the next guy? He wants Chase to stay here and ball out. And some of his comments have been a little coded, but I think they're meant to motivate on him. Of course, Chase was smart enough not to really talk about his contract much and asked him, "How does this make you feel?" Man, he blew us off, and he was smart to do that. So Chase is not getting traded because it would make no sense on there. Did watch also Montez Sweat. When Montez Sweat laughs, it kind of scares me, to be honest. He was laughing afterwards. He talks a lot of stuff on the field, and then he kind of laughs. Woo! He's just Montez is a huge dude. So, I wouldn't want him running at me. He knocked down one of the passes today and all, but these drills, nobody's blocking you like that. But I thought Montez looked good too on the field, on there. For some of you, this will be the last time I do one until training camp, unless something happens. So I expect camp to start around July 27th if you take how many days from their first preseason game. And I was looking at the list today NBC sent out. Of course, you have the Hall of Fame game. It's always the opening preseason game. And then Washington plays on a Monday night. They're a second preseason game. So wherever you are, you'll be able to watch them on a national audience on there. And I'll talk about the QBs. I'll say Hal, I thought, struggled a little today. He's had a turnover here and there, but still it's a lot different than what it was a year ago. And I'm trying to figure out if Carson Wentz is trying to fine-tune a game or whatever. I mean, these dudes are out there for blood. Jacoby Brissett's out there for blood. Jake Fromm, the third quarterback, is out there for blood, along with Sam Howell. Nobody screw around. Man, they throw some frozen ropes. Brissett, one thing I really love about Brissett is he has such great peripheral vision that he will look this way and he can throw a dagger the other way. It's impressive. I'll give him that. And one thing I've liked about this minicamp is you don't see many balls on the ground, which means a couple things. One, you're passing pretty well. You've got good chemistry, that kind of stuff. Two, people aren't dropping them. And three, they're not really running the ball as much. They're working on the passing game. So there's not a lot of fumbles or anything like that. But overall, I think Brissett's look good. I still expect him to be the 2 to start with. I think Howell's looked decent. His arm has been decent. He's still learning stuff. He's a second-year player learning a new system again. And EB's yelling at people. Don't worry, EB's yelling at people. So, all right, let me get some questions. Robert asked, who's getting the most first-team reps at left guard? I think Sadiq Charles. I haven't been counting them, just been noticing who's out there. And I think Sadiq Charles is probably ahead there a little bit. Have I noticed Cody Barton? Getting ones on the phone, too, here. Cody Barton, I like Cody Barton. I like him a lot. I mean, I liked Cole, but Cody Barton, this dude's a baller out on that field. And I haven't even got to see him really hit people. But I like that a lot. Matt, hey, back to you. Let's see. Foot Model. That's a good name. Can you guarantee we get a third-round pick for him? Well, that's the compensation pick if they lose him for free agency. So, that's why I said third. The second, I don't know. I don't know how to answer your question, to be honest, on that one. Abe, all right, Abe's back, thanks. Am I correct that there is zero chance we keep both Sweat and Young? I would not say that as zero, because very little. I mean, when I saw Joe Gibbs come back, I said nothing's impossible in life. But it's unlikely. And we'll see who plays better and who they want to keep. Let's see, Steve, I hear there was another kicker hanging around. Does it look any good? Didn't see that. I've only seen kicking once, and that was Tuesday, and it wasn't that great, to be honest. So that's all I've seen. I'm sure they're on a different field doing stuff. I can only watch so much. I was trying to watch a lot of things. Emmanuel Forbes, I think Emmanuel Forbes has looked really good, but man, he has nothing lower body, which has always been my thing. But as far as a football player, things have looked very good. I think he's looked good in practice. They've been testing him here and there. He's looked okay. Quan Martin, I haven't gotten to see a lot of for some reason. A little bit, been okay. He blocked a pass with his helmet that bounced to somebody else for an interception. That was kind of funny. He was playing the receiver on there. Saul I know I'm going to screw this up. Mathis. I say this all the time, too. Here's Mathis. Fedarian. I don't know why you get old. Don't get old. Fedarian Mathis. What a wrecking ball. what a wrecking ball. He was going against twos, because he's a two, but woo! So I like him. And, it was funny because somebody asked Ron Payne about him, the Alabama wall, this guy's coming in. And he kind of smiles and kind of made a quip about Fedarian to me, which means this guy keeps that room loose and makes a lot of jokes. I think that's what that means. But it was just kind of funny. It was sort of like Big Brother looking down at Little Brother, like, reminded me of the Big Daddy Wilson used to say that about Lang, because Lang would always make jokes about Big Daddy. He'd go, oh, Big Daddy's trying to lose weight. He's eating salads, potato salad, chicken salad. And Wilkinson would just kind of look up at him like, boy, don't make me get up and get you. It was always a funny time. Josh Snider, are we related? I don't know. If you have any money, we're probably not. Who's getting first team reps? Gates is getting them. I think he's looked good. So I expect Gates to be the center. Robert, I heard Tuesday John Allen stopped practice to check the offense for being too rah-rah. So don't forget, we're not rushing the passer. I didn't hear that. Maybe I was down the other end of the field doing something. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying I don't know. They were getting some people in. So people always come by. I did get a Big Dan beer. You can get them at Wegmans and also from Old Ox Brewery. But the Wegmans in Ashburn has them. So cheers to everybody. No, it's a touch bitter because it's made from the tears of 23 years. But it's not bad. Would I sit there and drink it all the time? Maybe not. But I'm going to stick it on my shelf and right next to my Big Jack beer, which I used to drink Big Jack. We had it at Frostburg. It was on tap for 50 cents back then. All right. Hi, Clint. Glad to see you're coming with us. Great. And then EB's offense is going to be fun to watch. I mean, I watched De'Ami Brown, if I say it right. I'm always saying his name wrong. Thank you, Dave, for that. But Brown has been hooking up a lot with Sam Howell, just like their old college days, and everybody wondered. But where's Brown going to get a ball? I mean, you still got, he's at best the fourth receiver, and I think the tight ends are going to get a lot of ones. But I would just tell a guy, go out there, try and get yourself 30-plus catches, and when you're a free agent, maybe get you a deal. He's got some speed. He's looking good. And you never know with injuries. We might see Brown out there more. Last year, he just got a taste of playing, and he did well. All right, so somebody wrote me some new copy about Big Dan beer. Mild and bitter, unlike Dan. Can't say that, Dan. I can't say that. And they should sell it at FedEx and every grocery store. They make a fortune. They would make a fortune. But they have a limited ability to make so much. They're a small brewer. Can't say some of these things. Sorry, Bob. But it's kind of cool. I never thought I'd have another beer next to my Big Jack beer. Big Jack beer was pretty good on there. But they were so afraid of Jack Kent Cooke that after he died, the beer company, I said, let me buy the labels. They had sheets of them. They hadn't printed any beer yet. They had to stop with his death. So let me have them. They're like, nah, I don't think Cooke would like that. Cooke's dead. I don't think he'd care if I bought the labels. They wouldn't sell them to me. No, well, I was going to sell them to you years later for more money. Dee, thank you so much for coming. It's funny. I had my shirt. This shirt I wore at practice today. When I was getting ready here, I realized it was totally. I had the buttons on wrong. I wore the shirt with the buttons on wrong. It was uneven all day, and no one said anything to me. I know sports writers are known for being slobs, but damn, I think somebody would say, "Hey, Rick, your shirt's not right." Maybe they're used to it. Maybe I do it more than they think. So, all right. I was just doing a video. I'm going to put a new video up soon. I put up 3 today. I tried to do it after practice. I'm not going to follow after practice tomorrow. It'll be in a bubble thing. There's not much to talk about. And then, we've got, 6 weeks? Something like that. 6, 7 weeks till camp starts. I'm sure there'll be things going on because there always is. And I will be making videos all the time like I always do. So I don't think I've missed a day in quite a while. So over a year. So, and if something happens big, I'll come on and we'll do a live chat since you guys like to do it. And if you want to hit the thanks button there, these things aren't cheap, So every time I take a drink, you have to hit the thanks button, $2, $5, whatever. And it helps me buy more Big Jack beer or buy Dan beer. It's an India Pale Ale, whatever the heck that means. Everybody drinking beer now, it's like different flavors and seltzer. Just drink your beer. My God, you know. But like I said, I'd love if they sold this at FedEx. That would be awesome. I know everybody would drink it, and you would drink it if it was at the stadium. So that'd be interesting to see what happened. I doubt they'd do it. That would take some nerve, but it would be funny. So, oh, Abe, thank you so much for chipping in. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm still doing the mowing here. I mow a little over 3 acres. It takes me 2.5 hours. Last week it was hot, and I was like, okay, now I see what the summer is going to look like. It's been a usually nice spring. It hasn't been very hot all spring. I mean, minicamp today was nothing. It was like 75, and the smoke was in the air, and it was a little bothersome, but not a lot to me, but to the players, I think it was. But normally minicamp, because the Commander's Park is very close to a stream and a bunch of wetland, the gnats come early June are just crazy. Not the baseball ones, those little bugs. And they're always in your face. And they weren't there this year. It was awesome. Maybe the smoke got them. I don't know. But man, that was a nice, refreshing change. Maybe because it hadn't gotten hot in Washington. It's been, I don't know. I've lived here all my life. I can tell you, June 15th, you usually see the humidity click in. And suddenly it's hot and sweaty in Washington. And they'll be done. They'll be on the road. Coaches take off a lot. Coaches usually take off about a month after camp is done. That's the only time they're off the whole year. A lot of coaches are like, I don't want to see you here. I don't want to see you watching film. I want you to go home, see your family, do something else for a month. And then they come back a couple weeks before training camp starts and, get the game plans back up and all that. So, because once the season starts, they don't take a day off for 6 months until the season's over. There's not a day off. Hell, there's not much hours off. I was reading, I don't have it right in front of me, but I was reading The Futures Now, which was a book on George Allen, and the book was written after the 71 first season, and it was really insightful about George Allen. So, I got it on Amazon for $5. There's a new George Allen book coming out this fall, I think October, and I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it on there. But the one interesting thing, among the many things in that book, was that the old Redskin Park was built in 4 months. Can you imagine? It took me 6 months to build my new home. I thought that was pretty interesting how they got it through. The old place was fine. I don't know. I'm not big on Taj Mahals on it. But if you ever get a chance, The Futures Now, kind of talked a lot, really got into George Allen's head. And now maybe I understand Bruce a little more, but the old man was he just said, I don't even see my family. I don't care. I'm all about football. Well, he had 4 kids. He must have seen his family some on there. All right, 8 questions. That's it. Yeah, I've hit the highlights. For those of you coming around, first, a lot of people come in late. I talked about the weather. It is smoky in Washington, but not too bad out at Commander's Park, which is about good 20 miles outside of Washington proper. It's by Dulles Airport. It's near the mountains. It's usually a little cooler there, believe it or not. And it always has a breeze that comes over the mountains. So you could see a little blue in the sky today, but it was still bothering them. So Thursday's final day of minicamp may be in the bubble, which really makes it just a walkthrough because trying to fit 90 people inside that bubble is hard for players. They just don't have the room. So to me, today was like the last impression, and I thought they played that way. I thought it's been a good camp as far as urgency and hustling more to the line, trying to get these plays off quickly. Bieniemy's always yelling at him, "Come on, go, go, go!" He's, the quarterbacks are kind of looking around because it's practice, and he's basically screw that, go, go, and that's okay. It's good to know that. So Bieniemy's making it. I don't find him obnoxious though. I don't find him overbearing, yelling at players and all. He's not yelling at players every 2 seconds. He's yelling at somebody when they really screw up, which happens. That's part of learning. That's part of what camp is for, is they're trying to install their entire game plan so that when they come back in July, they've seen these plays at least a little. It won't be all brand new. You don't want them to learn new plays. You want them to start now refining these plays and getting better at it. So I mean, EB's fine. I don't have any problem with that. He's trying to motivate guys, trying to get better. That's what the NFL is all about. And if you can't get better, you're going to get out, kind of thing. But he's fine. Most of the players are saying that too. Let's see, Josh Snider, I guess my Eric cousin here. If EB's offense takes off, what are the chances he sticks around as head coach? We haven't talked to Josh Harris to get their mind set on any of this. Until we do that, can't really say any of the future stuff. I do get a sense of just talking to people around the park that kind of sitting on their hands a little bit, knowing that everything could change in a month or whenever the new owners come in. Last time a new owner came in, he wiped out the building. So, they're a little nervous. This is their livelihoods, working there. And so I think a lot of things are kind of on hold, in some respects, a lot of planning, because there's no sense doing it until you hear what the new people want to do. So it's been a little weird like that. Yeah. All right, this thing on, no questions from you guys? Usually you're rattling them off. Well, while you're doing that, I don't usually drink a lot anyway, so I'm not a big drinker anymore. But hey, big damn beer, you got to take a shot on that. All right. Man, are we frozen here or something? Anybody there? There we go. Justin's put in. How bad is the air quality? I didn't hear a number. Justin, Ron just said it's under 200, which is when they would have a problem to do stuff. But he didn't say what the number was, and I don't carry around an air quality kit to tell you such a thing. It wasn't that bad out at the park. Now, I live on the other side of town. It was a little worse, but not oppressive. But in downtown, I mean, you could go by some buildings, and it would look like sort of like fog. Couldn't quite see the upper parts of buildings at times, a little bit like fog. So it was kind of weird like that. We used to have bad air quality days, and luckily, we've been doing better in the last 20 years. Air quality has improved in Washington and probably the country. Tougher environmentals, and it's doing what it's supposed to do. This we can't do anything about with being a wildfire in Canada. Unless we set up giant fans at the border and blow it out to sea or something. But I would say I could tell players were having a little bit of trouble breathing on, running the deep routes, things like that. So I definitely infected them a little. They're telling everybody if you have respiratory problems, stuff like that, skip going outside. Some people are wearing masks like the pandemic. Do what you got to do, to help yourself. All right, Robert, any rumors about signing any available free agents? If somebody were a big money guy, Ron said they would have to call Dan Snider because he still owns the team, still has money. Ron didn't expect to do that. He's not really one to do that. So, they may sign a guy here and there, especially after minicamp. They'll review the film. What do they have? And then they'll see what's still out there. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a move or two, but nobody of major note on there. Did you guys see Russell Okung's picture today where he's lost like 100 pounds? And man, he looks terrific, but wow, what a body change, 100 pounds like that. I'm down 50, so that's why I have this and stuff. But if I drink more big damn beer, I may not be. Hey, bro, early day tomorrow. Oh, you got to leave early. All right, sorry, Abe. I said thank you for coming. You can always watch on replay, any of you. If you want to see the whole show, you can come back another time. More people watch on replay on there. Is the team getting closer to signing Cam Curl? Asked Kevin. No, not until the new owner comes in. They're not doing any of this stuff. They've told everybody, sorry, but we really need to wait and see what the next owner wants to do. So they don't have a ton of cap space. So they're just going to wait and see on that. I'm sure they're going to re-sign Cam Curl. But it's going to be a little while. Everybody's got to put their patience caps on. I know Americans don't want to do that. We want everything now, but no. Any update on the stadium location, says Elvis. Is that what it is? Once again, the patient cap comes off. They were talking about a spot basically across the river from Nationals Park, but it's 110 acres total. And I checked just to see what a stadium took. I never really knew. Stadiums take about 75 acres, like Dallas Stadium. You want something nice, so we're going to go a little bigger. 75 giant stadiums like that, 70 some acres. There's not enough room there. And I drive by that spot all the time. Drove by it this morning. The mayor has got a big sign up to put housing on that spot area. So I don't see it's going to Locust Point. I don't see that. So I still think it's either RFK or it's not in D.C. But we are not going to talk about the stadium much for a while because nothing is going to move on this stadium till at least the new owners come in. And it's going to take a while. And now there's talk about 2033. You know how old I'll be in 2033? I hope I'm here to see it. But I probably won't be covering it. But we'll see. So, yeah, the stadium's that's just on the side. And the same stuff for like names. The name's not going to change. We're not going to worry about that for a while. Which radio station will cover the games this season? Oh, I guess it would be the same one, which is AM 630. I'm sorry, Big 100. Big 100, it's 100.3 on your dial. Don Geronimo does a lot of stuff there. If you remember Don and Mike's show way back in the day, they were kind of shock jocks. Now Don's like me. He's an old man. He's trying to be nice to people. It's weird on there. But they'll do. I mean, they have the same announcing teams. The team has to approve. Bram Weinstein will, again, be the radio voice. And I've known Bram for 25 years or so. Great guy. Funny. Has his own show on AM 630 in the afternoons. So they'll still be doing that. I know preseason, it's a different deal, who does what. And I know Chick Hernandez is going to be doing part of the TV team. Chick's really a funny guy, too. Chick versus Bram is funniest guy in town. That would be interesting. I mean, Chick's sort of like Don Rickles. I mean, he can just insult you and make you laugh at him insulting you. He's a funny guy. So I'm glad to see Chick around for such things. Logan Paulson, I think, is doing something, too. Okay. Yeah. The radio, TV world, it's always changing. It's not, I mean, I'm in the radio world, I guess. But that's because I write for the website, and then they all have me on their shows all the time. So, not in print too much anymore. But that's okay. I'm losing a light. Yeah, weird. Cheap. Okay. Anybody, if you want to hit the button, hit the thanks button. I appreciate it. We're halfway through the show. Seems like a quieter group tonight. Usually are just hitting me with a lot of these questions. But if you want to hit the thanks button, all money goes to me. But sometimes I donate it to a charity, so we'll see. All right, Justin says, Messi's coming to the U.S. Yeah, I saw that. Going to Miami. I probably won't go to Audi Field to see him. I'm not a big soccer guy. I did see Beckham when he came with the LA Galaxy. He came played the United. It was a show. And you could see how great he was, even as an older guy. I have watched soccer. My very first beat as a sports writer, 1978, was covering a college soccer team. So I know a little something about it. But maybe I'll go see Messi. We'll see when he comes here. Because, I think soccer is a lot more interesting if you go watch it in person. It's like kind of like hockey, too. Hockey's so much better in person on there. Tickets tripled. I'm not surprised, Justin. Something like that. Everybody wants to scalp them for money. It's Washington. That's how we make money around here, All right. So after minicamp, things are quiet, which is kind of nice. I mean, it's never quiet for long around here. I shouldn't say that. But maybe we can all goof off a little bit and do some other things. Maybe watch the Nats. They don't stink as bad as I thought they were. I'm waiting for the Wizards to see who they draft. The Wizards actually hired a front office that may know what it's doing. And God forbid, we may actually have a decent team. So, all right, Steve, hit it. Thank you, Steve, so much. I appreciate it. On all of that. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Steve. I do appreciate it. It does help. Being an old sports writer isn't the most lucrative business, but I like doing this. That's why I'm spending my semi-retirement still doing it. Am I getting good vibes from the team to be a little more optimistic about their chances? See, I think they can win 10 games this year. I think this is a decent-looking team. I don't want to hear people going, you got Aspen syndrome. This is my 49th training camp on somebody somewhere, including me. So I know a little something what I'm looking at. That could fool me, but I think they'll be decent on offense, maybe even better than decent, and they'll be really good in defense. And it's a tough schedule. There's some challenges, but I think they can, be a decent team this year. This stuff about everybody saying they're going to win 4 or 5 games, I don't see that. So maybe I'm Sister Sunshine. We'll see. Michael, if Bradley Beal is still a Wizard after this season, they don't know what they're doing. Yeah, Bradley is a great 2. He's not your 1. He's a 2. But unfortunately, you're paying him like a 1. And that's the problem. And I like Bradley Beal personally and don't really know him that much. But Beal, Beal's a good guy, good community guy. You just need a stud in front of him. Make him the second option. He's like Pippen to Jordan. Although if you ask Pippen, he's the one. I saw that where he got Jordan mad. Scottie Pippen's a great player. Bradley's, this team just needs a fresh start in the front office and build again. You should be able to find a decent player with the 8th pick in the draft, not a developmental player from Europe who gets hurt and never plays. And Justin says trading Ree and seeing what he's doing now sucks. Absolutely. I thought they gave away Ree Hachimura for nothing. 3 2s? 3 2s? That was stupid. Steve, I think more reliable kicker is a very big need. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think I would like to see him upgrade off of Joey Sly. I like Joey. He's a cool dude. I like the tats on a kicker. He's got confidence, but they could upgrade. Our season will be dependent on how Hal plays, says Kevin. Absolutely. And the question of how he plays is how's the offensive line play. Watching, I think Gates is looking okay at center. Cosme looks fine at guard. I like his attitude. He said, play wherever. I don't care. Some people would say being moved from tackle to guards like a slight. I don't feel that way. It's just where you fit better. And I think he fits better that way. So he's there. Leno's going to be the left tackle. He's fine. He's not the best tackle in the league, but he's fine. And I have not had a chance to watch the right tackle very much. Well, I can't remember his name. I should be able to remember his name. It's been a long day. I started at 7 this morning. So, you know who I'm talking about, on the right side. And then Sadiq Charles might be the left guard, which scares me a little because he always gets hurt. Wiley or whatever. Who's the right tackle? Come on. Type it in. Madden 24 cover athlete is Josh Allen. Yeah, I saw that. I don't know if he'd really want to be that guy or not on there. I only played Madden once in my life. My years ago, my teenage nephew just beat me like 80-0. I'm too old to play video game stuff. Andrew Wiley, thank you, Michael. Like I said, you get old sometimes, can't remember a name. I can visualize him, what he looks like. A lot of guys on the line, I don't even know their numbers, but I know what they look like. And their body size, I know who that is right off. So I kind of play it that way at times. All right, we got about 20 minutes to go. Go ahead, hit your questions. This is a smaller group tonight. I guess people just don't figure I'm doing this time of year, or maybe don't care this time of year. At Belmont, people ask me, who am I picking at Belmont? Decide Friday. But probably Forte, who skipped the Derby because he got hurt. Well, he didn't get hurt. He got a minor injury, and they just didn't want to chance him. The vet scratched him. There was a lot of dispute about that. I think Forte will probably win it. If National Treasure can go 1.5 miles on the front, God bless him. Bafford's the greatest trainer, and I'm not down on him like a lot of people. So, and then the Angel horse. So I think it's a chalk triple. I think there's only like 8 horses in it. Heat or Nuggets tonight, yes, Justin. Nuggets. But, I don't know anything. Don't bet. Because off the bait. I give the Heat credit. They're not afraid, I mean, it's a great story. But, they've had their championship way in the past. I'd like to see Denver get a chance to, I like to see new teams win. So I'll root. I don't care in the end, but it would be cool. Okay, Justin, I'm glad you're doing it. All right, remember, I get 10% of the win and none of the grief. I know you're joking. I really hate all these DraftKings commercials and all that say, your first bet can't lose up to $1,000. Well, if you read the fine print, and now if you're reading the stories about, you don't get your $1,000 back if you lose. It's a lot of lawyer talk. Don't bet things like that. I'm not a betting guy on this because I grew up in the biz where sports writers, if you gambled on games, you were fired, unless it was horse racing, which I was in for 5 years. But I just think it ruins the game. So that money, I just think gambling. They didn't build Vegas off of losing, so I don't like to see people get suckered into this. You want to play fantasy ball? Go ahead. I just find it very few people make money. If you do, good for you, but not many people do. I did say take Logan Thomas on your fantasy team this year, and I know you're probably thinking Logan Thomas, but I have a video out in the morning about it. But Logan Thomas has looked really good in training camp, and I always seem to be standing on the sideline where they throw the ball to him. So I've had a lot of up close encounters with Logan Thomas. He's so big. He's 6'6". Top of my head doesn't even hit his shoulder pads. This dude's huge, but he looks great. He looks healthy for the first time in a while. So I think Logan can really have another. Will he catch 72 balls like 3 years ago? I don't know. It's about even opportunities for that many. But I think he can be a good one and put him on your fantasy team. And Cole Turner has looked good too. He lost his body. He lost some weight. I didn't think he needed to, but he said his body fat was 8%. I got enough of that in one arm to fill my whole body. But I think that if the tight ends can stay healthy, Bates looks good too. Last year they have like 6 of them got hurt. So if they stay healthy, this tight end group with EB's offense really could be something special. So I would consider getting those guys on your fantasy team. You can get them late round. Who's going to take Logan in front of you? Steve is too broke to gamble. Well, you're better off because then you'd really be broke if you gamble. The team did reiterate its gambling policies on Tuesday with the players when they started minicamp because we've already lost one player for a year suspension on gambling. They basically said, don't do it. Don't get caught up in this crap. You could lose a lot of money in your contract being suspended. So the team did address this again. They've always had big posters in the locker room about gambling laws. But, of course, gambling's changed so much in the last few years that now it's hard to find. But just say no as far as they go. How are the rookies doing? Asked Kevin. All right, so I think Emmanuel Forbes has looked very good. I mean, he's still got bone-thin legs, which is my one worry. But as far as the football end of this, I think he's looked fine. I think he's going to be fine on the outside. Quan Martin has made some plays. It's kind of hard for me to judge him completely. And the rest of them, I haven't really noticed a whole lot too much. I was trying to watch Chase and Sweat a lot more today and Forbes, that kind of thing. So 90 guys makes it hard to focus on a lot of things. Justin, can the players gamble on any sport? I'm not really sure what the rule is, so it's best to just leave it alone. When's the start of training camp, league commander asked? I think it's July 27th, but that's not official yet. But you always back up like 15 days from your first game, and that would take it to first practice on the 27th. And they will have fans out at the park, and they haven't done the ticket thing yet, but you have to just keep an eye out. I'm sure it'll be sometime in July they'll start doing that. It's free to come, but they basically want to get your email so they can send you marketing stuff every day so you'll buy something. It's and they do that too to also limit the crowds, to be honest. I mean, the Commander's Park can't really accommodate a huge crowd anymore. Some of the open fields they used for parking back in 2000, I guess it was, are now internet server monolith buildings. So they couldn't bring in a lot of people anyway. Has Wentz signed with a team yet? Kevin asked. I was thinking of that today. I don't believe so. But I'm sure he will with somebody eventually, especially when injuries happen. The NFL needs more quarterbacks than it has. Wentz won't sit on won't sit on the sidelines forever on there. Somebody will take him, maybe not as a starter, but as a backup. And that's if he wants to do it. Maybe he wants to say, I'm retired. He's already made a lot of money, so why not? For those of you, I noticed I read the analytics on the website when we do these chats. People come in and out in 15-minute spurts. So if you didn't run around earlier, we do have Buy Dan Beer. Is at Wegmans. It's also at the pub, Old Ox Brewery. Not sure what the legal rules are about mailing them, but if you're in the Ashburn area at Wegmans, they have it. And, they have 4-pack, cost $16. Oof. It's a little bit better because it's, it tastes like the tears of all these years. It's not bad. It tastes like beer. Basically, beer. If you have a fruity, tasty kind of beer, it's not beer. All right. All right, Justin, I got Doug Williams' autograph from a sports card for $18 last week and thought it was cheap. I don't know much about that. My favorite Doug Williams story, in a way, about an autograph, when he won the Super Bowl, I was out at Redskin Park, I guess 2 days later, when they all came back. And Doug came in the media room just to get some mail and stuff. And the kid was delivering pizza. Comes into the room, sees Doug, rips the top off the box, and asked Doug to sign it, which he did. So whoever got their pizza didn't get the top of the box. And the kid walked out with the top of the box signed by Doug. So I always thought that was really cool. Doug was a really gracious guy, always. I've always liked Doug. Good guy. So that didn't surprise me that he signed that pizza box like that. All right, so just, $18, hey, if you're happy with it, go for it. It's funny because Doug, when he came back years later, he and I were talking, he said, I just don't recognize you. I said, Doug, you know how many years it's been since 87? I had hair and everything back then. So did you. No wonder we looked different. I mean, Fred Smoot said hello to me the other day. I don't think Fred had any idea who I am. And I used to cover Fred all the time. One of my favorite pictures is he and I laughing together in the locker room. I don't have many of those. But I don't think he did it. Oh, I talked to Doc Walker yesterday on the sideline. And one of the viewers asked me to ask Doc a question, which I didn't know the answer to. So why is your name Doc? And I told Doc, Doc's Rick, like me. And he said, growing up, there were always like 3 Ricks in the room. And I agree. When I grew up, there was always 2 or 3 of us. Today, you can't find a Rick anywhere. But back in our day, it was. And he said, when he came to the Redskins, there were 3 Ricks on the team. And he says, one was Rick, one was Ricky, and then him. He said Gibbs just started calling him Doc, just to kind of differentiate, so that you didn't say Rick and 3 people yelled back to you. He just gave him the nickname Doc. No particular reason, never said why, and it just fit. So that's why he's Doc Walker. So I thought maybe the Doctor of Love or something, but it wasn't. He didn't do that nickname himself. That was pretty funny. Doc's a funny guy if you ever get to meet him. Still a huge, imposing person. Shake your hand, he won't break it like Dexter. But Doc's in great shape for a guy. I think he's 68 now. And Doc's cool. If you run into him, say hello. You run into me, go away. I get a lot of people tell me too, hey, I saw you somewhere. I'm around. I just said hello. I won't kill you. Good day. Let's see. Steve says, what a blank year we would have been if they traded Doug. Yeah. Well, I mean, and Doug, when they signed him out of the USFL, that was a late night decision. And Beathard had to call Jack Kent Cooke and say, listen, I got a backup quarterback out of the USFL. But it's going to cost me $1 million, which was a whole lot of money for a backup quarterback back then. And so he had to call Cook. And Cook basically said, do it. It was Doug Williams. Won a Super Bowl for him. And then, Doug only won 5 games as a Redskin. 5 games. I mean, his best years were in Tampa Bay as an expansion team and were wasted there. But he only won 5 games, and he's held in this big regard and of course 3 of them were playoff games. Joe Theismann also won a Super Bowl. He won 85 games, most by any quarterback team history. Yep, people love Doug and they give Joe a hard time. Joe doesn't deserve that. Let's see. Is it true that John Riggins was a big duck hunter? Asked Justin. think so. I think Butts got him into it. Butts was really big on ducks. He used to make decoys. In his locker, he'd have wooden decoys. He'd carve them up and went duck hunting with them. So I asked Butts once about him. He about carved me up, but Butts could be a little grumpy in the locker room. Let's see. Kevin says, now there's new management with the team. Do I think retirees will come back to visit? Depends, if they're really invited or not. Do they have a point of reference, somebody to be the liaison? The last ownership didn't really think much about it. Haven't seen too many guys here at camp. Seen a couple, but not many. Clinton Portis came by one day on there. Trying to think, there was a couple others. I can't remember offhand who it was. Yeah, they haven't. Yeah, that was one thing Bruce did right. It was trying to get some of the alumni back. And I hope they continue to do that. It would be a great thing. Yeah, I know it's a little weird with, the Redskin name changed and all, but work it out. All right, let's see. We've got 10 minutes to go, and then I'm on break. I'm still doing the videos because I still got to eat. So you'll see that, they're still doing my way. Do some different things here and there. I had a pizza show last weekend that some of you watched. So I've got another pizza show coming up in a couple weeks. My friends all want to be on the pizza show. Old sports writers, we talk nonsense and eat pizza. And people like to watch them. So I have a friend doing it in a couple weeks. My friends all want to go because they want to eat free pizza off me. So that's why, I guess, why it's so popular. But I'm going to do a little bit of vacation videos, and a little bit of this and that, and, places to go around town. And I do some historical stuff. Still do some tour guiding. If you come to Washington this summer, you want to go on tour, go to monumentalthoughts.com and my website. You can reach me through there or send me an email here. And some of you do. I had a few people come in the spring. And usually people do it in the fall. They come in and we go on Saturday before the game. And I'll take you around wherever you want to do in Washington. It's not too expensive, but it's one of the ways I make a living. Still write for 1067 The Fan, Odyssey.com. I've had columns up every day this week about minicamp. You can read me there, among other things. Are the players taking any hard hits during camp? Asked Kevin. No, against the rules. Not allowed to hit each other. They can push and shove, but nobody's, tattooed somebody. It's against the rules. So. Steve, as pizza shows hurt me, I got to stay away from that stuff. Well, yeah, but, me too. But I eat pizza here and there. I learned that when I had a heart attack 20 years ago. It's okay to have a slice of pizza here and there. Life goes on. You can't, it's not going to kill you. Just don't eat it every day. And that's pretty much what the surgeons and all told me, too. Okay. All right, let's see. Oh, we're down to eating, talking pizza. We must be bored. All right. Yeah, small group. The diehards are here today. So like the people in the stands at FedEx. I know you've heard the new people are spending $100 million on FedEx because they got to, they're not leaving in a couple years. They got to, make sure pipes don't burst, and you've got to buy duct tape for the rails and all that kind of stuff. So I'm sure they'll make some nice things happen inside the, the suites for rich people and the scoreboards. I always laugh when I talk about the scoreboard. Listen, it's been tough looking at the scoreboard the last few years. You kind of look at what's the score? It's not like you're sitting there going, "Ooh, they're way ahead." So I don't know how much you really have to fix the scoreboard here. That's vanity stuff. Vanity stuff costs you a lot of money. Not really worried about it, that kind of thing. All right, 5 minutes to go. If you want to throw some last money at me, appreciate it. It's hit the thanks button on there. So my doppelganger where I live, it was also named Rick Snider, passed away recently. So I'm the only one left. That was really weird. My friend called me and says, "Dude, I read this obituary of your name and where you live." And I thought, yeah, and it's kind of weird. I didn't know he passed away. That's a weird thing. I said, I'm going to tell my friends now that no, I'm not dead. But you would think so with my name and obituary like that. How do I think about Maryland football this fall? Asked Patrick. Well, I haven't looked at it too much, but I'll give Loxley credit. He turned the corner last season and got better. And Loxley's a great recruiter. I know him from his days when I was covering the team in Friesian time, and Loxley was an assistant there. Loxley's great at keeping local talent. He wasn't that great at game coaching, but he's gotten a lot better. So, I think they'll be decent. If you can just win your non-conference games and split the conference games, that's really all you can expect, in the Big Ten. They're not going to beat Ohio State very often. What I'll be looking for the last day of minicamp, if it's inside the bubble league, Commander, it's just really nothing to look at. It's just stuff. Did any of the fans try and sue after they fell over the rails? I did read about that, Kevin, but I never saw any court decisions on anything. I heard they did sue, but I haven't seen any outcome of that. I don't blame them. You fall over the rail like that. A couple of them didn't have to get medical attention. I don't think anybody was seriously hurt. But in America, you sue over whatever. You sue over hurt feelings. You remember Dan Snider sued a journalist once, tried to, get the paper to fire him and all this stuff. And then later had to admit when he dropped the suit that he had never even seen the story. Or the cartoon that was with it that he said was anti-Semitic and defamatory toward him, had never seen it. So that's how lawsuits can happen. Okay, last couple minutes. Hit whatever button you want. Even hit the like button if you can. That thumbs up thing, the algorithm likes that. If nothing else, do that for me. Hit the thumbs up button. Algorithm, that's why I start every show saying, please, share, subscribe, comment, because the algorithm listens for that and goes, ooh, I like that. And it gives me more leads. About half my traffic is YouTube's algorithm setting on the search engine. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world behind Google, which owns YouTube. So it's everything to them. Looks like everybody's starting to fall off, so I guess we'll say our goodbyes on this. So let me toast you one more time to bye, Dan. You'll see it on my shelf from now on when I get done drinking it. So cheers to everybody for that. And anyway, so bye, Justin. Appreciate you coming on that. And I'm glad everybody, we did a few in the off season here when time came up. It's just a way of touching base. I'll be doing the weekly show, more or less when they come back from training camp. And also the podcast with my friend Matt. We'll be doing that again come training camp. Matt likes to take a break from that. He's got a real job that pays him a lot of money, so he doesn't have to do this stuff. But we'll be doing that again this fall. We may have some new material. We'll see how it goes. I'm really year to year covering this team at this point in my age. I'll just keep going as long as somebody pays me to do it, even a token amount, and I don't have to, YouTube and all that. And we'll see. So anyway, all right, everybody. Thanks so much for coming. Thanks for all of you guys that I know are diehards and come by regularly and donate money to the cause here and try and keep me going on that. So I do appreciate all of that. Hope you have some fun. Go. I'm not going anywhere this summer. Can you believe that? Next year, my wife and I she's retiring, and we're going to go to Europe again and have fun. We used to travel every year, and maybe we'll go somewhere this year, but nothing big. But I hope everybody you get to go to the beach or something. Go do something. I can tell you, take it from a guy who worked 80-hour weeks most of his life until my health went. Work's work. It'll be somebody else will do it when you can't. Go have fun with your family, your friends, and enjoy the summer. You only get so many of them in life. So that's what I hope to do. Hopefully you'll see me in pictures of my garden. I've got a big garden I've been doing. So far the deer haven't eaten it. And the corn's up, cauliflower, sunflowers are up, melons are starting. I don't know. I'm come from a long line of farmers. Maybe it's time I finally come back to the dirt on everything. So you'll see pictures of that. All right, everybody, thank you so much for coming. We're done until July. So come by for the regular videos during the week. But otherwise, we'll have some fun. So thank you for coming. Rick Snider's Washington. If you're watching on replay, if you only caught part of the show will restart on YouTube in a few minutes. So more people watch it that way. So hopefully you can see some of that. And I appreciate everybody coming by for all this stuff. So I'll see you again soon. Thank you for coming.